Welcome to the Voice of Grace Lightlooper and Cycle Witch podcast. I am Grace Lightlooper, a multidimensional vocal channel, singer, and soul activation coach. Through my work, I guide souls to unlock the power of their voice, connect with their soul's frequency, and reactivate their ancient magic. I run transformational online and in-person containers and online voice activation courses. All my offerings can be found on my website. Now, this magical episode, as ever, is co-hosted with my soul sister Beth. She is an artist, a mystic, and a healer, and she goes by the name of Cycle Witch. Today, we explore what space holding means to us. So come and join us for another journey of connection, realizations, and transformation. We're back. It's kind of episode number 2 for us too, but technically on here will be episode number 4. We've already got 2 on there.
Look at you go.
Yeah.
Look at you go.
Woo! What does 4 mean in numerology? It was 4 mean.
I have no idea.
I was looking them all up the other day.
Oh, okay.
I can only remember some of them. 2 was like divine union and partnership. 8 was abundance. 9 is like a completion.
Oh.
5 might have been transformation. Yeah, I can't remember what 4 was. I'm going to look it up at some point. I was like thinking I was going to look it up on my phone, but no, it's here recording us, so we won't do that. Oh, look, 44. It was on 44 as I looked at it.
Okay.
Cooking on gas. Okay, we've got some topics today to actually chat about. Woo! And they are...
Space holding.
Should have gone for some harmonies.
Yeah. Should we try it again?
Yeah. You go for space holding.
Okay.
And I'll harmonise.
You ready?
1, 2, 3. Space holding. Beautiful.
Woo. Okay. So, space holding. What does it mean to you?
I actually had someone ask me this once. Someone I used to work with. So it's funny when you like talk about someone but not mention their name, but think if they ever listen to this, they don't know exactly who they are. No, we were just driving along and it's like, you mentioned a lot on your social media about space holding. What does that mean? And so it was quite nice to actually explain my take on it. But I think now I would elaborate a bit more on that. So did you just ask me, by the way? Or did
I did ask you.
Did I butt in? Sometimes
No,
I don't know. All right, cool. I'll carry on then. Yeah, so for me, space holding is about... So when someone's holding space for me, I would like them to feel like the safest person in the moment when I'm going into the deepest, scariest place. Because when we're seeking someone to hold space for us, it's going to be at a time when we're feeling vulnerable and scared and like we can't hold that space for ourselves to drop into our own feelings and our own stuff. So I see that a space holder for me ideally would have like a really strong balance of masculine and feminine energy. So that empathy, but also the safety and that kind of grounded energy. I think that's a really beautiful mix for someone to hold space for me. I feel for someone to be really efficient at space holding, and this is just my personal experience, I'm just sharing from where I am at and in my own journey, is that the people that have really been there themselves, for me, are qualified to then hold that space for me. And I think I can tell that like straight away. I can tell if I don't feel safe with someone, because we can only ever go to the depths of our own emotions if the space holder has gone to that depth themselves. Because if they're not carrying that frequency of that depth, of that capacity to hold that, then something in us will just pick up on that and not be able to go to those depths. So for me, I think it's super important to really connect with people that hold space, that have really been through that that work, that stuff themselves, and that are, as a consequence of that, are unafraid to see you in your depth of expression. And I think it's really interesting when I think about it, because my journey has been one of suppression of expression. And I've been in quite a few spaces over the years where I've attracted that. So I've been in ceremonies where it's like, sit there, be quiet, don't do anything, don't sing, don't da da da. And I've had this like pressure building up of like wanting to channel or wanting to express or even cry, and it's been shut down. So it's really interesting to sort of like witness my journey, because obviously we go through the things that we're then going to become strong in ourselves. So for me, being able to express every range of that emotion within the container that that space holder is creating is so important for me. And it's something that I hold myself in quite high regard with. And I know that I've had a lot of amazing feedback from other people around my space holding, because I know I've been there. I've been to hell and back so many times, so many freaking times, that I feel like I can hold that, you know, in whatever expression that person needs to express, the pain, the grief, the crying, the screaming, the movements, the joy, the laughter, the singing, the channeling, the light language, all of it, that whole spectrum is something that I actually thrive with that, because I thrive to see people just let go in whatever way that is, whatever end of the fucking spectrum that is. There's the pain, it's the joy. Just let go and allow that to move through them. So yeah, that's my, they're my feelings, my deepest passionate feelings actually on space holding. Yeah. So thank you for asking.
Thank you for sharing. I find that really interesting, like where you were saying about you would want somebody holding space for you who's been to those depths themselves. And I was thinking, well, I hold space here a lot. Have I been to those depths? I must have, because you feel that I can reach that with you. But that's not, I wouldn't say that's something that I'm conscious of in that moment. And yeah, I just found it very interesting. Maybe your explanation of it made me look at how I hold space as well.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting.
Because I know, and I say this with like absolute truth, like I've been so freaking fussy over the years who holds space for me. And it's not from a place of avoidance or judgment. It's from a place of, I've struggled to find the people that can hold the energy that in the past I have channeled and I have expressed. It's been a lot. There's been a lot of trauma, a lot of deep trauma. And you know, that's been part of my journey, because obviously we're only going to attract what our narrative is. So back then my narrative was, people can't handle my energy, I'm too loud, you know, blah, 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 blah. So that's the space holder that I attracted. So now I'm very particular, because I know I can go to those depths. I just need the other person to just hold me through it. And you are like the epitome of that for me. And I can't, it's like, I kind of want to put it in a box, and I kind of want to be like, oh, it's because you did this, or you went through this in your life, or you had this trauma, or this journey, or da 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 da. But I don't know much about your story, actually. Not that I need to, but isn't that amazing that I don't know? I don't know much about your story, and yet you've held me through like some of the biggest transformations, some of the biggest like trauma releases that I've had. And so you quite clearly are carrying that or like emanating that frequency of safety
Mm.
within you, like something in you is just matching that depth.
Maybe. I guess so. I think for me, when I'm holding space for somebody, I mean, we've been through loads of stuff, haven't we? We've been through sobbing, screaming, body movements, physical expulsions. And I don't know, I think for me, I'm not afraid of any of those things.
Yeah.
Because I have a like a, I don't know, it's like there's a voice in my head, right? And it says to me, you know, this may be a very big emotion that you're not used to seeing. This may be a very big thing that you're not used to seeing. But it's not yours. And all you need to do is just create space for it. That is it. And I mean, at times where I've needed to express how I'm feeling, the times where it's been most difficult have been when people have taken what I'm feeling and made it about them.
Oh, that's a really difficult one.
And it's like, I automatically, if somebody's taking what I'm expressing to them and made it about them, then I shut down. I can't share.
Yeah, because then it's not safe for you to share. Yeah.
So I'm very conscious when I'm holding space for somebody to be like, I'm here, I'm with you. There is so much space for you to express whatever you need to. But I'm not going to take it away. I'm not going to speak it for you. I'm not going to take anything you say to me and go, well, that must be about me. You know? That's just it. For me, that would be the shittest space holding ever, like, you know?
Number one rule, don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. And also, like, I noticed the little part of me inside when, like, there's been times like at the Essex weekend where somebody's really, you know, they've gotten very, very angry and voiced that. And I've felt that in me, that kind of like, oh God, where's that coming from? And that kind of like fear. But I love that I had the opportunity to see people in that space go, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for expressing that anger. I appreciate that so much. And hearing that was like a little light switch got flicked for me. And I was just like, I would want that.
Yes. Yeah.
And I know I can do that. So yeah, it's like it's for me, it's this massive like mixture of things, but it's just allowing space for things to come out, not making them about myself, and being in gratitude. Like, that's a massive part of it for me. Like, it takes a lot for somebody to be able to express how they're feeling. And I think it's really important to recognize that within yourself energetically and also verbally as well. Like, if you want somebody to continue to feel safe and share, and for them to reflect that back to you, onto anyone else they feel that they are holding space for, you need to be able to say, hey, thank you. You've shown me the part of yourself that's been suppressed, or you've shown me that I have permission to do that too. And it's, I mean, I'm still learning, I'm still figuring it out, but I think that's the general gist of it.
Yeah, what you just said about like thank you, that feeling, I got that actually. That was really activated for me in a sharing circle once, where someone, it's like an older member of one of the team that were running the event, and this person said like, I don't cry much. And then during the sharing circle, this person broke down in tears, and we're all sat outside on the grass, and their tears, it's almost like I saw their tears like going into the grass, into the earth. And it was in that moment I was like, every tear is gift. Like every emotion that someone shares is straight from the heart. Like anything other than that is just what it's just like, I don't know, details, just details. But when someone expresses something straight from the heart, no matter what that is, if that's like tears or screaming or crying, that you're right. Like it's a gift.
It really is.
Because there's something in that alchemizes and goes way beyond what we can comprehend is happening. But I feel like it's going back into earth. It's going back into like the cosmos, what's it called? Like the cosmic web that kind of encompasses us. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, it's an offering. That's the word I'm trying to think. Like it's an offering. So like when I always feel like when I hold space for someone and they are really offering themselves fully and truly, it's such a blessing to be in, to like witness that and to be in that energy of that offering.
Yeah.
So it's to be a space holder of any kind is such an honor. I think
I couldn't agree with you more. Absolutely, definitely.
And I just want to mention as well something that you said where you mentioned about when you share something with someone and then they might turn it around and project it back onto you, to us, when we're sharing. And you said about like you decided because of that to know I'm going to always be present, for this person. That is so hard to do. Like that is so freaking hard to do. And it's amazing that you've managed to come to that point where you are strong enough to not be triggered by someone turning something around and projecting it back on you. Because like we've all been in that scenario, all been in that unsafe space where we've thought it was safe, like vulnerably shared something, and then that person's been like, well, it's fucking about me, like in whatever way they throw it back. But it's really hard. It's like really, really hard to like stay neutral. I mean, I also have been on that journey where I've like it's like a training, isn't it? Like a muscle memory where you like train yourself to constantly be like, this is just mirroring, this is just energy, and in this moment I am choosing to be the space holder, therefore my ego will take a backseat, my stories will take a backseat, we'll just be here. But it takes a lot of strength. So for you to be able to do that is epic.
I think
it's epic.
I think a lot of it comes from, I mean, you're saying like, oh wow, this is, I mean, I'm still figuring out this because there's been so many times where I was a really shut down person. I didn't even know what my feelings were, let alone how to share them.
Yeah.
Anytime I felt anything, frustration, anger, sadness, it just used to come out as crying.
Right.
But not release crying.
Yeah.
Crying where it's like, stop it, stop crying, right. Stop crying. And it becomes this like cycle of crying that you can't get out of because you're not releasing anything.
Yeah.
And you're punishing yourself for crying and you can't actually figure out why you're crying.
Yeah.
And you can't then express and talk to somebody else because I just used to go completely nonverbal. And from that to where I am now has been maybe like 7 years, I reckon, maybe a little bit less. Where was I going with this? So now when I feel like I need to share something with somebody, I need to express an emotion with them so that I can either A, process through it, or B, work with them to express it and say, look, you know, I'm really struggling because this happened. And can you reassure me? Can you give me comfort? And the times where I've done that and been really, really brave and been like, I need to share, and that person has then been like, turned it around on me. And I mean, this happens all the time. Most people don't know how to deal with other people's emotions, and they make it personal. And it's happened to me time and time again with so many different people. And at that point, that's when I have no control over. I just shut down.
Yeah, sure.
I can't choose to then be like present.
Yeah, of course.
But having kind of learned about space holding and learning how to hold space for myself.
Yes, that's the biggie, isn't it? That's where it starts.
The biggie.
Yeah.
And I've now reached a point where I feel really comfortable in the discomfort of having somebody speak to me about how I've made them feel. And if that is true and honest, and they're really just, they need to talk through the process, I can just listen. And I'll be upset, I'll cry, but there is a little piece inside of me that is just like, they just need to let this out. It's part of their process. You can just listen. That's all that's required from you in this moment. And then later on, you can figure out what you can take and what you need to leave, because it's not yours. And I think there's always an opportunity in those moments to be able to say, like, okay, there are things I can learn from this. There are things that I can be genuinely called out on, which are really important to look at, because you can't just go, oh, this is all your shit.
Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking that. Yeah.
That's not healthy, and it's not the path towards growth, right?
Yeah.
But it's great, because in that time I can go, right, all you need to do is listen. And then I can take time to process through and be like, does this resonate? Is this something that actually applies? And through doing that, I've created spaces where people can meet me with that same level of space holding.
Right.
Which is really wonderful.
Yeah.
Because when you create a safe space for somebody, they learn how to hold a safe space for you, right?
Yeah.
Because they go, wow, that felt really good. And then they go, huh.
Oh, that's how it's done.
That's how it's done. Oh, sorry.
What was I going to say? Oh, I was going to respond to something you just said. Oh, it's completely gone. Just have some dead air for a little bit while I try and remember what I was going to say.
Would you like me to make a little jingle?
Yeah. There's a shaker there, there's a shikapra, there's a guitar, and there's some singing bowls, and there's a loop station. No, okay, well, I'm just going to have to forget it, and then I'll inevitably be like, I know what it was, halfway through.
Of
or
course.
Middle of the night, wake up, remember
course.
the words. It's so rare that I don't have words. Like, I was resonating so much with everything you were saying, and I was like, so like, yeah. But my brain's just like...
Said it all. Said all the words.
Yeah, you said, I know what I was going to say now, I just remembered it.
There we go.
It was that. It was like magic click. Yeah, so, oh my gosh. So when you were saying about like that, you know, if that person's sharing with you stuff that might be hurtful, but you're kind of like holding that space and you might have a little cry, it's like that stuff's inevitably going to be in you as well already, isn't it, to be healed, because that's where your cry comes from. So again, it's like that kind of gift of, thank you for triggering that in me. I did not realize I was still holding on to that, and I can cry that out.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Because like everything is just a mirror. Like every single freaking goddamn thing in every person, in every situation, like to the point where like we're manifesting every single little part of our reality, and it's only through our conditioning and our training and our learned experiences that we're able to be like, this is a desk, this is a door. And like, to some degree, me and you are experiencing like a similar reality, but then on another level, it could be like a completely different reality that we're experiencing, which, yeah, that's where the whole like, you know, hologram thing comes in, where we're just, I don't know, yeah. in a dream.
I haven't gone too far into that stuff yet, so maybe we need to have an episode where you tell me all about that stuff.
That's just through my own experience. Like I've not seeked. Is that word?
Sought.
Say suck. Oh my god. Beth's the wordsmith, by the way, of the outfit. I'm not.
Which is weird because you write songs.
Yes. And I was gonna say this is why I channel light language, so I don't have to think what words fit. What was I even saying? I haven't sought out this information. This is just like from my own experience of like, I kind of realize what people are talking about when they say about, you know, manifesting every part of a reality, because like my reality is so different to other people's reality, and that's only to do with like the ancestral conditioning, what's in our DNA, and then what our own experience is. And it's like every single bit of this shapes like what we literally experience in every moment, and it's like mind-blowing. Blind mowing, as I was going to say.
Blind mowing. Don't be doing that.
That sounds like a dangerous sport.
It does. Okay, so
what are we on? 25 minutes again. Yeah. We're good at like just boshing out the 25 minutes.
I think we have done a really good exploration of what space holding is for each of us.
Yeah.
Because, you know, for other people, it may be something a bit different. So if you have a different take on that, then send us your replies on Facebook.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear that.
Totally.
I wonder whether our next episode should be an explanation of how we have developed our like processing practice, because sometimes I speak to people and I'm like, oh my god, yeah, like we went into ceremony and like I brought up all of this emotion and I was able to really express it and physically release it, and people look at me like I'm mad. And I'm like, no, but it's trapped inside you, and it's really good to let that out and create space and time for that process to happen. And you know, sometimes I'll chat to people and I'll be like, oh, by the way, I'm really woo-woo, like tell me if this is a bit too much for you. And they'll be like, oh no, I do yoga. And I'm like, okay, so here's what I experience. And they go, that's weird. So I think it'd be really lovely for us to explore how we practice our connection and healing through that.
Yeah, I'm definitely up for that. Yeah, I love talking about this stuff. Excellent.
Fantastic.
Okay. Oh, join us in episode number 2/5. And we'll see you there. Thanks.